Hi, I'm Jake.
And I'm Ashley.
And this is the Wonderful Thing About Disney podcast.
Because Disney's a wonderful thing. Come on down, stop on by, hop a carpet, and fly with us as we discuss the parks, treats, and all things Disney, with new episodes every wonderful Wednesday.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast, and happy Wonderful Wednesday to all of you.
Happy Wonderful Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. And this week, I think we're going to change things up a little bit.
Yeah, we are. We're going to mix things up. So if you've listened to our previous episodes, you know that we have a segment that we love called Uncle Bob's Mailbox.
Yeah.
So this is where we share our big ideas with Uncle Bob and Cousin Josh, but we decided, why not just do a whole episode dedicated to Uncle Bob's Mailbox?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've told Uncle Bob and Cousin Josh some things that we would like to see in the park, but today we want to tell them some things that I think we maybe took for granted in the parks and why we can no longer go anywhere else without comparing it to Disney.
I think that's absolutely true. I mean, Disney's kind of ruined us. Not like in a bad way. I think it's a good way.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we are Disney people, and there's many reasons for that. I know that there are people out there who aren't the biggest fans of Disney or Disney parks, whether that's the costs or the crowds. We get it. But they do so many things right, and they really have the formula down for making an absolutely incredible park experience. In fact, I spent 3 summers running a scout camp where we had over 5,000 guests per summer. And as we were organizing our program and our guest experience and our hospitality, we modeled a lot of that around what Disney does in their parks, just because it's kind of the benchmark for excellence.
Exactly. So that's kind of where we got the idea for this episode. Because back in March, we took a trip to Universal in California. It was so much fun. The kids had a great time. But we constantly found ourselves looking at certain things and legit saying, Disney would never.
Yeah. I don't know if we're just snobby, but it was kind of a lot of things. We're Disney snobs. So many, and that's what we should do. That's an idea for a t-shirt. Yeah. There's so many things though that I would just think to myself, Cousin Josh would never allow this to happen in Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's a thing. So in the spirit of that, we wanted to share our thoughts, feelings, ideas, not just for this specific trip, but kind of in general of things that Disney would never. Let's kick it off.
All right, let's do it. So let's start with something just as simple as trash cans. Disney has trash cans every 30 feet, and this is something that Walt Disney himself created to ensure that Disneyland would never become dirty.
Yeah, it's such, I don't know, it seems like such a little thing, but it's such an enormous thing. And Walt Disney even created a new type of trash can with the little swinging doors so that you would never see or smell the trash.
Exactly.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. So, and the other thing I like about Disney is their trash cans are themed, so it's kind of based on the land, which I think is really cool.
It is. It's a little thing, but it's a nice touch.
Yeah, but when we were at Universal, there were so many full trash cans. And trash cans that were full in the queue lines as well. And I do appreciate that there are trash cans because, for example, when we went to the San Diego Zoo, this is off topic, but we had trash and we carried it with us for quite a long time.
We did.
And I remember even there saying, Disney would never. Where is my trash can?
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that Universal had trash cans in the queue lines as well. And I'm not saying that Disney never has full trash cans because it does happen. But rarely do you see Disney with overflowing trash cans.
It's true.
And I don't know how often the Disney parks empty their trash cans, but Disney obviously does a better job than Universal because it was just kind of embarrassing to see how full those trash cans were.
Yeah. Disney would never.
Exactly.
That actually is something, though, that Disney does with its employees from day one. So as they're onboarding their new hires, everybody is taught that you are all part of the janitorial team. And that's why you rarely see managers walking around the park without trash grabbers in their hands. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
Not to sound like Hermione Granger, but I read about it in the book Disney U, or Disney University.
Of course.
I did. And it was great. So let's talk mobile order in restaurants, because I kind of feel like I have a new appreciation for mobile order now that we went to Universal.
Yeah.
Because it just works so great in the Disney parks. Like, you put your order on the app, you make a return time to pick that, you kind of choose, knowing what's available. You let them know when you arrive, and then a few minutes later, you have your food.
Yeah.
It works. Universal Hollywood did not have many mobile order locations for number one. Like, there were just few and far between. And these locations that did have mobile order, it was always a long wait.
Yeah.
Like, you had no idea when your food was going to be ready or how long you would be sitting there. And it just felt like the process was not polished or efficient.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
No consistency. And even when we had a sit-down experience at Toadstool Cafe, it took forever.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The food, absolutely took forever.
And we're going to talk about this in a minute, but it's not like we ordered anything special. Like, you didn't even order anything special because you couldn't order anything special.
Yeah.
But it wasn't any fancy. It was just pasta and burgers. And it took almost 20 minutes for us to get our food after ordering. And we knew there was like a line out the door of people. Like, it just took forever.
Yeah, it did.
So say it with me. Disney would never.
Yeah, Disney would never. But yeah, speaking of food, I was definitely disappointed in the food allergy options, especially the gluten-free options.
Yeah.
There really was not a ton that I could eat. And if I remember correctly, I think almost every menu had something vegan, because I remember like the V with the little like symbol on it.
There were a lot of vegan options, which was cool.
But I definitely had to ask if the entrees could be modified for my food sensitivity. And there were some places that honestly I didn't feel comfortable eating.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
Because I didn't feel that the team members like were confident in their answers. And I mean, I didn't get sick on the trip eating, but we did go to Universal Orlando not too long ago. And on the very last day, like, my stomach did definitely get upset because it just...
No, and that was something you knew in the moment. You're like, nope, something didn't jive. And I mean, as long as we can remember, you've never had that happen in a Disney park.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with my food sensitivity in Disney. And again, we talked about this in a previous episode, so we know that Disney food allergies are prepared in a separate kitchen or a separate area of the kitchen, but in Universal, that is just not the case. I could not get a defined answer from any team members as to how the food was prepared. So we think it's all in one kitchen, so you always have that cross-contamination there.
People, Disney would never.
Disney would never. So... Thank you, Disney. I, again, have said this, but love how Disney handles the food allergies and their menus. And people at Disney are just so knowledgeable of the menu. They make you feel confident, and they have no problem when you ask to modify a dish.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And there's options, too. And there are options that are readily available that you can see yourself on the menu. So you can always walk up to a cast member, ask if they can make it allergy free or I mean, it's just one of those things that they do it up front, so it takes the guesswork out of it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the queue lines for a minute.
The queue lines.
You're shaking your head. They were confusing in some places. Like, it just was not really clear or roped off properly, like which way you were supposed to go. And the one that really jumps out to me that comes to mind was Flight of the Hippogriff. Like, the line literally went two different ways. Like, it was really weird. And so, like, as we're standing there, like, we were watching people walk in the line and not know where to go.
Because we didn't know where to go. We weren't sure which way to go. And people were getting just as confused as we were.
Crazy. Another little thing that's a big thing are the stanchions in the line. Like, Disney has those stanchions that fit into the ground, and they have the little plugs that sit there and stuff. But, like, it makes such a difference because these stanchions weren't always secure. And that could also be because, like, people were, like, climbing on them and swinging on them like crazies. I feel like the cast members do a really good job of telling people to stay off the ropes or the walls while in line. And it's, again, it's for safety. But it just, people I think are a little more respectful in the lines. Where at Universal, it kind of felt like nobody really cared. Like, there were kids, like, hanging themselves in the ropes, and the team members just didn't even notice. So...
Yeah, I agree.
We get it. Like, Disney's not perfect, But if there ever was like a rope or a chain or something in the line that was broken or damaged, by the next morning it's fixed. And that was not the case in Universal. Like there were some of those lines that were just kind of a hot mess. And I just sat there thinking to myself, Disney would never.
Yeah, Disney would never. The next topic I think we wanted to cover is attractions. So it's no surprise, or it shouldn't be a surprise, that Universal has the bigger rides, the bigger thrill rides, the 3D rides. And I can't do a ton of those, which I think is why I love Disney so much, is because Disney for me has a better variety. And I feel like I'm getting a bigger bang for my buck.
I do want to talk about that for a minute because there are definitely thrilling rides in Disney, but it's not necessarily a thrill ride park. And I know that for some people, that's your jam, and you want to go on these super intense roller coasters or motion simulators or all these other things. And I felt like Disney has done a very good job of saying, how can we make this experience enjoyable and thrilling, but also do it to accommodate as wide a group of people as possible. Like the intensity may not be there, but what it lacks in intensity, it makes up for in storytelling or immersiveness or just overall entertainment. If that's fair.
No, that was beautifully said. Beautifully
Thank
said.
you.
Love it.
Thank you.
Love it.
Bob, Uncle Josh, you can hire me as a private consultant for the parks. I'm available.
Yes.
DM me. Slide into my DMs.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my personal biggest pet peeves when we were in Universal is when you were in a theater type show, they did not make you move all the way down the row when they were loading into the theater.
I never thought that would be a big deal, but it was a huge deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So people just sat in the middle of the row, and our family got separated twice, like two different times.
And there's only 5 of us. Like,
yeah.
We've got 3 kids. It's not like we had this crazy huge group.
Exactly. But there were 2 times that we were separated because there weren't enough seats next to each other. And the people, when we asked them to move, they were so rude.
Oh, no. There was one lady in general that I don't know. I still am not happy about it. But she was just, I don't know. I'm not saying that Disney has all the answers, people. But I feel like when you're there, there's a different level of conduct. And, like you're treated well, so you tend to treat other people well. It's not the same. And so, I don't know. Shout out to all of our Disney homies who also love being cool to other people. Like, it was so much better.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like,
yeah.
Other Disney guests would never.
Yeah. Yes. So there's the example that came to my mind is like Muppets.
Yeah.
Muppet Vision 3D. When you go to that show, sometimes they know that that's not going to completely fill every single seat. So they're a little more lenient if you don't move down the row all the way. But if you do sit directly in the middle, the cast member will tell you, like, hey, keep moving down.
Or if they know there's a lot of people behind you, they're like, hey, we have a fuller show. If everyone could please, like, scoot to the end of the row.
Exactly.
Not a big deal.
And you have other shows like It's Tough to Be a Bug where they fill that thing. At least when we've gone, it's full almost every single time. So you don't have a choice. Like, you do have to move all the way down the row.
Right.
But that was not the case in Universal.
No.
Like, you could just sit wherever you wanted. So
I'm getting all freaky deaky willy-nilly all over the place. And all we could do is look at each other and say, Disney would never.
Yeah. So also with attractions, I think Disney is more accommodating to those that are plus size.
Or just average size people, because not everybody is tiny.
Exactly. So at Universal, I noticed that outside of almost every ride, there was a test vehicle that you could sit in to make sure that you would either like fit in the seat or like the chest harness that goes, like over your head and over your shoulder, that it would fit there.
And like, to be fair, Disney has that too outside of Tron. But that's like one of the only ones, because most of their vehicles and attractions are made to accommodate an average size person or someone who's a little bit bigger. There's plenty of seat space there. Like, it's not an issue.
Yeah, so I thought about that. So Tron and Flight of Passage were the only 2 that I could think of that had test vehicles there. But for Tron, if you don't fit in the bike for any reason, or if you have back problems on, I think it's like every other car of Tron. In the very back, you have the ability to sit versus like mounting the bike. So they're still being very accommodating.
Yep.
So I'm a bit of like a larger person. I'm not, huge, but in Secret Life of Pets, like it was a tight squeeze for me. And even the team member, she was like, "Are you sitting on anything?" And I looked at her and I was like, "No." And she was like, "Okay, have a great ride, or whatever."
Oh, not anymore, lady.
Yeah, it was just like awkward. So then I didn't really like enjoy the ride. Like I was really looking forward to that one. But then after that, I was like, I just wasn't very comfortable sitting in the seat. And I just kept thinking about like what she said to me. And I was like, okay,
no, it wasn't cool. It wasn't cool at all. And for me, as an average sized dude, like I was tightly squeezed in there too. So I'm like, is this just a ride for kids? Because the average person, it felt very tight.
Well, and to your point, I remember hearing a conversation of a couple that were definitely plus size, and they were really upset. Like the wife, girlfriend, whoever, she was really, really upset because she was like, why can't we ride any of these rides here?
Oh, man.
I don't know
that
if you
sucks. Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
Oh, what a bummer.
So thank you, Disney, again, for just being so accommodating, thinking of families and people of all, shapes and sizes.
That's true. And because you took this there, I also think we need to talk about like people with disabilities or elderly. Now, again, I'm not throwing shade. I'm not casting judgment, but there were not a lot of old people and there were not a lot of people that had disabilities walking around Universal Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because there's like no way you can get around. And I get this is the nature of Universal Hollywood that is a little bit different than Universal in Florida. But if you have a stroller or a wheelchair or crutches, like there's no good way to get around the park. I'm sorry. No. And I mean, I think somebody maybe warned us or maybe I just zoned out. But when we got to the top of the escalators and I'm like, wait, the Jurassic World attraction is where? Like all the way down the mountain, and you gotta like venture down these massive 3 escalators. It was crazy. And then like as we're like halfway down, I'm like, wait a minute, how would someone with a wheelchair get down here? And I guess they have elevators, but like they were not easily found. I don't know. I didn't see them.
Yeah, I didn't either.
And in that moment, as we're making this long journey, I thought to myself, Disney parks are flat.
I know. I was thinking about that too.
There's very little elevation change. I think the one park that might have the most diversity in its landscape is maybe Animal Kingdom.
I would agree. I would think that would have been my
guess.
But
even then, if I had to push someone in a wheelchair, maybe I'd be like, oh, we're kind of on a slight incline. But
Correct.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else.
Yeah.
And it just I took it for granted until we were at Hollywood and I'm like, wow, this would be really hard. And then again, all of a sudden I'm like, where's all the motorized scooters? And I know sometimes we tend to curse them because, maybe they knock your ankles or whatever, but you can accommodate people and anyone of any age or disability can get around your parks. And I don't know, like it almost makes me emotional because I'm like, how cool is it that that's never an issue?
I know. Well, and to even think about like the little kids, like those moms or dads those families that have, 2 kids, they've got to take their stroller down the escalator or leave their stroller at the top and then carry all of their bags, the diaper bag, down to Jurassic World and Nintendo World. Like that's tough.
And Nintendo World is very cool. Don't get us wrong. But because it's so popular with young ages too, like it's a burden to get your kid down there. It just is.
Yeah, it was hard for me to get down there.
Yeah. Well, and I acknowledge that Universal has to do what they can with the land they're given. Like it's just where they built it. But
yeah,
I mean, it's tough. It's just, it made it, I don't know. I just never really thought about it. And then on a personal level, like I can't wait to be old. I want my Disney cruiser. I'm going to sit there and just buzz around the parks on scooters, probably decorated like a Star Wars ship or like Radiator Springs race car. I don't know. And then I'm going to be chilling on Main Street. We're going to be eating our churros in our scooters. And we're going to be that cute old couple. And everyone's like, oh, they're so sweet. I'm like, yeah, you're darn right we are. We won't be able to go to Nintendo World, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just because we could never get down there. And I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing to realize, that just two completely different worlds for people that need accommodations.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. So moving on, I think the other thing I wanted to touch on was like construction zones. So in Disney, I think they do a good job of hiding the construction zones.
Yep.
Like as much as possible. Obviously, they're not perfect, but like Tiana's Bayou Adventure, I think they're trying to hide that as much as possible to make that a surprise. You know, they're super tall walls. You can't really see anything.
Right.
But, and even in Disneyland, like right now when we went a couple weeks ago, the Haunted Mansion construction walls, they're actually interactive.
No, that was super cool.
Which is
that was
so
really fun.
Cool. And Universal, it's just out in the open.
It is.
And again, to your point, I understand that they kind of just had to go with what they were given. You know, you're going down the escalator and you can see that they're building something there. Obviously, you can't really hide that. So,
but that was also the case in Florida too. And I mean, again, like there were some walls up, but like they're putting in a Fast and Furious ride right now. There were some walls up around that. But here's the thing. In Disney, I've never heard like heavy machinery going during the day.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just didn't notice. But like in Universal, you knew they were doing work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was just interesting. You know, just very different. And again, Disney would never.
Yeah, I appreciate that Disney definitely tries to keep the visibility of the construction zones to a minimum. For sure.
Well, and similar to that, like once everything is done, one thing that I have always loved, and I feel like no one does this better than Disneyland, is when you're in a land, you don't see the other lands.
Exactly.
Like, very rarely do you ever get a glimpse of anything. That's why when you go to Galaxy's Edge, it's so immersive. And even when you're riding the train around the park, like, you see the spires, but you don't see into Galaxy's Edge. And you can go all the way down the list. I think the one minor exception might be Cars Land, because you can see little pieces of Avengers Campus, but it doesn't like take away from Cars Land because it just is so immersive in and of itself. But outside of that, especially in Disneyland, most of those lands are very like encompassing and it just sucks you in and you have no idea what's around you outside of that land. So I love the feeling of being in Fantasyland and not being able to see or hear Tomorrowland. And the way they do their transitions is masterful, down to the music, to the trash can, to the benches. Like, all of a sudden you realize, like, wait, I'm in a different place now. And it's subtle, too. I mean, like, it was really fun going to Super Mario World and walking through that tunnel, you know, the pipe. But when you go from Fantasyland to Galaxy's Edge or Frontierland into Galaxy's Edge, like, all of a sudden you're like, wait, what happened? Something's changing, something's happening. And then before you realize it, like, oh, we're in a whole new world.
Exactly. But to your point, like when we were in Jurassic World, all of a sudden I was like, what is that like really loud noise? And then I realized it was the Transformers ride. I mean, it was a little bit further away, but like I could see it. I could hear it. So yeah, to your point of like being in a land, I do appreciate that.
No, it's just an added level of immersiveness and magic. That's really fun.
Yeah. So one of the last things I want to mention is it's kind of like a cast member minute for us. But we've talked about this on our podcast before. Cast members, we love them.
We love you guys.
We do.
Y'all are awesome.
You do an amazing job. You make everybody's day feel special and magical. However, team members at Universal, it's just a whole new ballgame. Like, some of them are just plain, like, rude, unfortunately.
Yeah, it wasn't the same.
Like, I had asked a team member where the closest bathroom was, and I remember the team member just, like, pointed in the direction of the bathroom. Didn't tell me, like, what to look for, what it was near. Didn't, like, try to attempt to, like, walk me over.
No, we walked around for a hot minute trying to find it. It was not super well marked. I mean, once we found it, we're like, oh, okay, there it is. But no, we walked around. We walked past it like twice.
Yeah, so I don't know if that team member was just like having a bad day, because it absolutely does happen. But it was more than once that we encountered a team member that really wasn't the nicest. And again, like to your point, Disney, they're trained. They know what they're doing, and they're always looking out for your safety, which
the safety piece is absolutely huge. And I really feel like this goes back to how they hire and train and ultimately like the Disney culture. Like it's part of the experience. I mean, even down to the name, when they call their employees cast members and the idea of being on stage, it just makes a huge, huge difference. And again, I know that there's cast members too that have their bad days, and some of them are putting in so much on stage time, and the demands are heavy. They're not compensated nearly what they deserve. But
yeah,
I do feel like for the most part, they really do try and make the experience magical for every guest.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference. You feel it. So because this cast member minute was kind of broad, as we're just kind of shouting out all cast members, we thought it would be fun to do something a little extra special. So we've mentioned before that we started an online t-shirt shop called Threads of Imagination that has a bunch of like park theme shirts and other things that we just think is kind of fun, just a little side project that we're working on. But in honor of our amazing cast members that take such great care of us as guests, we think that we would love to drop a brand new design in the shop. So just something fun in honor of the cast members. You can check that out under the Wonderful Thing About Disney podcast tab. So let us know what you think of this new design, and go thank your local cast member. They're awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the last thing that we wanted to quickly touch on from Universal is the Disney downtown area / like Disney Springs versus City Walk.
Yeah.
So
sorry, that sounded so negative. I'm like, yeah.
Well, but to your point, so City Walk didn't smell the best, if you
smelled awful.
Know what I mean.
It did not smell good.
And I was like, we've got 3 kids here. And even our youngest, or I think it was our middle child, was like, what is that smell? And we're like, nothing, just keep moving. So there were just some things that were going on down there.
Well, I mean, we can talk about it. Like, one, I mean, it was clean. It was. Besides a couple spots that felt like those trash cans needed to be cleaned out. But, like, let's call it what it is. Like, the smell of marijuana, the smell of smoking, and other things. And it was hard because, you know, 1, we're there with our family, but 2, like, I get it, people smoke, but like have designated areas, and maybe they do, but it just wasn't really well planned out, and it just really detracted from the experience, honestly, like, which was unfortunate.
Yeah. And the other thing is, again, it's just a little thing, but when we got to City Walk the first night that we were there, I just wanted a butterbeer.
I know.
And you can't get a butterbeer unless you're in the parks. But when you're at like Downtown Disney or Disney Springs, if you want a Dole Whip...
Oh, you get that Dole Whip.
You can get a Dole Whip. Especially in Disney Springs, you can get the Dole Whip. So again, it's just a little thing, a little bit of magic that you're bringing to that downtown area for all of your guests, because those areas are free. And with Downtown Disney or Disney Springs especially, you could spend a whole day down there and still feel that magic. It's free. It's still a fun experience. City Walk, within 20 minutes, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to be here anymore.
Well, and I know that they're, you know, it's a lot more broad of a stroke, that they're like more commercial restaurants, other things, but yeah, no, Disney Springs or Downtown Disney, it just feels different. It feels like you're still a part of the park experience, even though you're not in the park. And no, it was just, I don't know. I felt like so many times on this trip, not only were we saying Disney would never, but I just kept saying, why do we go anywhere else? Yeah. I can't wait to get to Disney. And I don't know, maybe it's something that is life perspective as I'm getting older, but I really appreciate that much more Walt Disney for who he was as a visionary and what he built, and what continues to live on through that legacy is, you know, regardless of your beliefs or your feelings or thoughts, like, they have made a place that is open for everyone.
Yeah.
Even his introductory speech to all who come to this happy place, welcome. You feel that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just nice in today's world that you have somewhere you can go where, you can have your mind blown, you can have your imagination tickled, you can feel like a kid again. And then you can share that with your own kids and build those memories and have those experiences that honestly are just very positive. And that's really cool. And yeah, you're not going to an amusement park, but you're going to a whole new world, it's just fun. So I love it. I'm very grateful for what Disney continues to do. I know it's not perfect as a company, but for the experience, I think is just unrivaled.
Yeah. So I was going to give some closing thoughts, but I don't really know how to top what you just said. You just said everything so perfectly. So I don't know that I really have anything else to add other than, we're just, because of what Disney does, we are Disney people. And we know that. And we're okay with it.
We are.
We accept it.
Yeah.
And
we'll see you there. Come find us because we're cool to hang out with. And you can have a churro with us.
On us. We'll buy you a churro.
Yeah, we will. Because we're cool.
Yeah. So that's it for this week's episode. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Patreon. And don't forget to check out our new online t-shirt shop. It's shopthreadsofImagination.com. So until next wonderful Wednesday, TTFN.